Good morning, everybody, and good morning to everybody that's on this recaps playback and replay. If you're listening back, I hope you are having a wonderful Thursday morning. Today we don't have Sarah, which is a-okay. I hope she's having a great day and she's having some work done on her power lines and her internet. And she'll be joining us maybe possibly later, but it is all good. I understand. When life calls, you got to answer. But anyways, today we're going to be going over what we did last night in last night's class. We have Alisher here from the Tech and Schools Initiative. Shout out Alisher, Nick, and Ross for all the work they do here in these Ideas to Impact series. We're on season 5 now. It honestly is just priceless and shocking to me that we're already on season 5 and week 2. And today we're going to be just going over our HTML and PHP app, uh, our second one that we launched last night. Specifically, it's an Oracle project. It's got like tarot cards and all that type of good stuff, like Chinese zodiac signs. Um, if you don't like that stuff, that's a-okay. The use case, you can change it into, let's say, some study cards, anything you want really. The UI, the HUD is easily customizable. We're going to be going through how to change this CSS, just edit everything pretty much. We don't want it to look like anything that it looks like now. If you guys remember the homework we got last night, we need to change everything. We want to go through, make sure that the pictures are different, uh, everything looks different. We want to customize it to our own taste, guys. Um, Alisher is setting up the stream right now, and he just got it up. Thank you, Alisher, for putting it up in the jumbotron. We'll do a little mic test. How are you doing this morning, my friend?
I'm doing great. Good morning, guys. I'm ready to get this started.
We can just jump right into it, Alisher, because I know there were some people like Starboss that are ready to see a couple of steps that they missed out on. I was getting a couple DMs, so I know people are excited and ready to rock and roll. Um, with that, what will be the first thing that we'll be going over to review today?
Right. So I think the first thing we're going to review is, of course, putting this up. There's, I think, there's a few issues that arose last night, and then also getting to it. I think a lot of people had a bit of an issue actually getting to their folders and their websites, right? Because it's not like a WordPress where you have a direct link. Here, you kind of have to navigate to it a little bit with the file directories and know how to use these file directories whenever you try to type it into the URL. And then from there, yeah, I'll try to show you guys how to edit all this CSS. I think that's something we didn't really get around to last night. We kind of ran out of time. And that should be it. I think today will be pretty simple. It's kind of like we already did this before, right? Week 1, we did something extremely similar. This one is just the different, it's the same format, it's just the different look to it and the different concept around this app. I think I'm actually surprised not to see one person since this is about tarot cards. I was hoping we would see Cassandra last night. I think this project would have been very up her alley. I've even spoken to her about the whole tarot cards Laura's. She has like her whole other website that she's doing, which is extremely cool and fun to look at. I'll make sure to send this to her as well. And guys, if you have any questions, feel free to request the mic. I'll as soon as I see it, I'll try to allow you guys in as a speaker. Okay, now let's review the most important part: logging in. So if you're sort of new to cPanel, you want to go to hosting.mytsi.org, which is where you put in your hosting order, and then from there you can copy this website into your URL and use your username and password to log in. That's step one. And then I highly recommend you bookmark that and save the password in there in order to just get straight into it and not have to go through that hosting website again. And once you're logged in, you're going to have all these tools, but the one we're really going to be working with, the one we have been working with from week one, is File Manager. Right? cPanel, for those of you guys who want the definition, it's kind of like this UI. It's so-called GUI, GUI that's given to your server, right? It's very good at wrapping the server and all the command writing stuff into this UI that's easy to understand. Something Kirk mentioned last night. I think he mentioned FTP, right? So here we have File Manager. We don't use FTP, which is how you would typically transfer files between like your computer and the server. So since we have File Manager, we don't really need FTP. We don't really need any sort of code editor. I'll say it's a little bit hard to connect like a code editor to the cPanel through FTP. It's a bit of work. It's not the same as something like Vercel that we've seen before or GitHub. This is the old school way. This is what they call the monolith architecture, where you have a server. Okay, once I'm in my file manager, from here, remember everything that's displayed on the web is going to be inside of public HTML. And try not to move this public HTML folder anywhere. The way that the server is set up, this is where the I guess the Apache script that routes all the domains will look for. So it's very important to the server infrastructure itself that you don't move this. Otherwise, all your websites will disappear, as we saw last night. Easily fixable, just bring back the HTML folder, not a problem. And if you guys ever have an issue with your hosting where all of a sudden you lose everything, we do take backups of this whole server regularly. So just let us know if you ever, I guess, lose your whole cPanel. Then we'll be able to restore it through a backup. Some things to remember for those of you who are in our mastery network and actually keep these cPanels from season to season. Okay, now for some of you in here, you might have 3 folders, 1, 2, and 3. Since this is my cPanel from previous seasons, I have them all here in season 5 folder. Here I have 1. This is the first one that we did last week. I actually did not make any changes. I got a little bit distracted. Maybe it's something I'll come back to after we're done or as we get close to the end of the season. Because as you guys will see, you'll gain new knowledge about editing the different parts of these templates as we go from week to week. So coming back and editing these again, just like if you're going to edit the style and the text, you're going to end up knowing how to edit in the previous project as well. And Starbots, I saw your hand. Do you have a question?
Real quick, I just want to make sure I'm following in the right place. For some reason, okay, so I'm in the cPanel, and then I went into my file manager, and when I opened up that file, I see a lot of files. Like I see my hub that we made, my websites, WordPress, index, PHP, a lot of WordPress stuff. Is my stuff in the wrong spot?
No, your stuff is in the right spot. It's just that you have a website installed in there, right? This will be typical for a lot of you from season 2, where we just installed our websites into the main folder. What you can do is you can create a new folder there. Or if you have like the same folder from last week, you can go into that folder and make a folder in that directory. That's typical. I can actually check out your cPanel if you give me a sec.
Okay,
I have
thank
to
you.
remember where I had all of them open. There it is.
Yeah, I just need to remember where I put my 1, 2, 3 folder.
Yeah, so for a lot of people from season 2, when we did the WordPresses, we installed the WordPress in the main public HTML folder, which is why you're seeing all these WP files, right? WP stands for WordPress. And it's okay to make new folders in there. It's actually not going to make any changes to your WordPress.
And a
Yeah.
little note while Alice is doing that, everybody be sure to be in the Slack. And if you're new and you're not in the Slack, get into the Slack. DM me, Alisher, for the Slack invite link, and we'll be sure to get it over to you guys because everything that you'll need for the class is in there. I'll give it back over to you, Alisher. My bad for stepping
Yeah,
on your toe.
guys, Slack is extremely important because that's where you're going to get all these scripts. We can't really publicly share these scripts. These are something that we've actually, licensed properly, and we have like the right to distribute through a classroom setting. Now, for you, Starboss, you want to go to the app folder, and then in there you're going to find first, second, and third. That's where you made your 3 folders.
Is that where it's supposed to be, and is that an okay place for
Yep,
it to
that's
live?
okay. So what you'll need to do to access them is you're going to go to your website /app, and then you'll be able to access all 3 of these folders. So let's see. I'll try to. Yeah. So alice.tsiprogram.org /app will let you get to them from the web, right, where you can test them and play around with them. And then the file manager is where we're actually going to upload the files. And go ahead. I saw your mic off.
Yeah, okay, so it's alice.tsi /
It's alice.tsiprogram.org /app to actually see them. I guess what you would describe as see it as a user, see the front end. So if I click on first out of these 3 folders, I have it on the stream, by the way, as well. If I click on first, we're going to see more files. So you're going to navigate to the folder where you have all the files. And once you get there, you're going to see the first project. So this is your first project. And then if I want to go back, I'll click back on my browser in order to go back in the folders. And then, yeah, I'm going to go to File Manager, and I'm going to start uploading my second project. So the second project, it looks very similar to the first one. The function is very similar to the first one. The major difference is just the idea behind the project. This project is a little bit more, I guess, has a bit more of a niche, right? It's very tarot focused. You might, I guess, you can rework it to not really be tarot, to be like one of those quarter fortune telling machines that Sarah was talking about yesterday. Type you see in movies all the time. Now, once you upload it, the upload bar is going to turn green. And when you go back to your folders, you want to click this reload button in the middle. And that will reload the directory and actually show you what files are there most up to date. And then from here, I have to extract. Right, this is going to be a very typical process. What you have to keep in mind is that if you want to upload a lot of files, let's say if I want to upload a whole project just like this one, make sure you zip that project first. So compress the project to turn it into one file and then upload it all in one go. Because otherwise, if your project has 50 pages, 10 folders, you're going to have to create all that manually and upload it one by one. It's not going to be as easy. Zip, very easy. You just upload the zip and then you extract it. And once you extract it, all those folders are going to populate in with those files. So once again, I extracted, but it's not showing. And if it's not showing, I can just reload. And here it is. You guys, I think, have a video from last week. So you have this file that you can open and see the video of how to edit things. There's documentation. This has a whole URL for documentation. So check this out. So documentation is useful because it's going to have a step-by-step of what to do. Extremely important. You can either watch the video if you're lost or go to this documentation that they provide. And very similar, you're going to get your OpenAI API key. You're going to set it up. You already have the environment. That's your cPanel. And then you can just go to it and test it. And they also go through what other things you can edit, like the prompt. This supports multiple languages. So if you want to serve some languages, if you know other languages that you want to translate this to, you could. This mostly uses GPT. If you look at our project from last week, there's actually a version of the project in the Slack that uses OpenRouter. So you can switch it out for OpenRouter. Yeah, this documentation is pretty much everything you need to know about this specific template. Extremely useful. Something we didn't actually get last time around during week 1. Now, the actual files are located in this HTML files folder. Now, what I like to do is, in order to shorten the URL, because right now I have to go to my website, season 5, to HTML files, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to select all these files and move them one folder up. So instead of being inside of the HTML files folder, they'll just be inside of the 2 folder. So I'm going to select all, move, and you guys see enter the path that you want to move this file to. I just want to move it one folder up. So I'll delete the last folder that's there. And now I can access this. That's with a URL that's a little bit shorter. Now I don't have any keys set up yet, but it'll still work. You'll still be able to access the UI. So I'm going to go to my primary domain. And then let's see. Let's read this file directory. This goes to season 5/2 for me. So I'm going to go to my domain. Then I'm going to do /season 5. Then /2. That'll take me immediately to this template. Now, these templates, they don't have user management or anything like that. They don't have token management. They're very straightforward. So you don't really have to set up too many things. It's really just the API key. And then you can build on top of it. Now, let's see where we can actually put this API key. So I'm going to go back to my files. Now, last time, the API key was inside of the PHP folder. So let's check. We'll go to the PHP folder, and there it is, key.php. Now, for this one, very important, you want to use OpenAI API key. You can get it from platform.openai.com. Platform.openai.com. I'm going to log into my account. I think I have an account that has some credits. You will need like $5 worth of credits on OpenAI in order to have your account activated and usable. And what's good is you can always revoke the key. So for example, here's a key from exactly a week ago. I'll just delete it since I'm not really using it. It's never been used. And I'll create a new one. Then I'll call this one Recap Season 5 Week 2. Just so I know what kind of key this is. This is fairly standard. You can use this key pretty much with any app that supports OpenAI API. You're going to find a few of those apps around. Yeah, let's put that into key.php. Now, here, be very careful. I'm going to zoom in. You want to put your key between the quotations. So where it says paste your key here, you want to put it between the quotes and keeping intact that $ API key equals and the semicolon at the end. Very important. Otherwise, your key will not be read. Your app really won't work. Okay, now I can save. Now let's check this out. What else do we have here? So these are the rest of my files. You guys can check them out. There's things like API in here, which control where you actually send this request. You guys see that, okay, it uses OpenAI. Great. This is where if you wanted to change this to Open Router, this is where you would do it. Now, that's our key setup. So at this point, if we refresh or if it doesn't work on the refresh, you might need to go into incognito. This should start working. So let's see. Create your birth chart. My purpose is to assist people. I need to obtain some information from you. Shall we begin? I'm going to say just do it based on my birthday. Birthday on July 7th, 1999. Okay, so it's responding. So that's how you know the API is working. And there's a very complex prompt that we're going to look at that this actually uses to respond and get the exact inputs that it needs from a person. It's actually very similar to what something like the personalities in Plus does. This is essentially a system prompt for it. Very similar to what our week 1 app did with all the different characters. Each one had their own system prompt that was unique. Cool. So let's see how we can edit the system prompt and everything related to it. Now, remembering from last week, everything related to prompting to models was inside of JSON folder. Right? We heard this quite a lot, JSON. So this is where the structured data is going to be read. So JSON really in our situation just refers to the structured data. As you can see, there's several models. Actually, one of these models, actually, never mind. The mini model is here. So typically what you want to do is you want to use the mini model because it's the cheapest. Piece of advice. All the other models quite expensive. Mini, it's cheap and it's extremely effective. I think in some cases even more effective than the regular model. Oops. Okay, now we have our prompts. You have 3 languages. So we'll focus on EN, English. And now this is where you can edit the prompt. As you can see, very similar structure to what the week 1 project was. You have prompt, which is the training part. So this training, that's your system prompt for this specific character. And then you have welcome message, as you guys saw. Let's go back to the app. This is the welcome message, the first message that pops up, kind of directing the user to what they should respond with, what kind of information they should give the AI. And let's see what else we have here. Okay, there's tarot.json. So these are all the tarot cards. So if you wanted to change what the tarot cards look like, let's see what else is there. Okay, so everything else pretty much the same structure as it was before. Just double check. Yeah. Now prompt, again, you have a few things here for prompt. So prompt is going to correspond to all these options for all these options that we have here of the different things that this Oracle can do. So if you wanted to edit the prompt, I think we went through one of these that was extremely long. So if you wanted to edit how long the steps are, that's where you'll be able to find it. All right, what are the dream meanings? Extremely similar to week 1. Now, do you guys have any questions so far? So the big thing here you got to keep in mind is that unlike week 1, these prompts correspond to these options on the front end, right? So each one of these is like a unique system prompt. So that's, I would say, the biggest takeaway here, where you can apply the information and the homework you did from week 1. Now, any questions before we go into trying to edit what this looks like on the front end?
I do want to check Starbucks. Did you have a question, or you had an issue, right, with one of your files? You can feel free to ask away to Alistair to get that solved right now. And then before we go into editing this CSS. And if she's all good or just busy, we can wrap back to it, Alistair. Sorry for stepping on toes. I'll let you dive back into it.
Okay. Now, oh, we have a request. Perfect. That's Dan.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna
What's
have
up,
to go
Dan?
back and watch the video, just because I missed
Okay.
one step at the very end of last week.
And if she's all good or just busy,
I hear you, Star Boss. So the step from last week that you probably missed is actually editing these animals. You don't have to go back to the previous project. What I recommend you do, since all the principles between project 1 and project 2 are kind of the same, focus on this one. And very similarly, you're going to edit this prompt.json that has the training, the welcome messages, the descriptions, and the image icons. So all of those will correspond to each one of these here that you see on your front page. Like dream meaning, for example, we can find dream meaning. It's the first thing in the prompt. You see right here, 1, Oracle, widget name, and then image, you see icon, dreams meaning. And then you have this welcome message. That's the first thing you can start editing, which is this welcome message right here on the front page, where it says, hello, I'm in the Oracle of Dreams, blah, blah, blah. Training is your system prompt. So this is what the AI will actually do. And then the description is description that the people are actually going to see. So that's one of the biggest things you can edit, is actually changing these system prompts to be something else. You know, this doesn't have to be like a wizard Oracle type character. This could be something else completely. This could be like a lawyer type character. All right, let's flip it upside down. You don't want something that's metaphysical. Well, you could be a lawyer, something that's actually very factual, and you could train it on different types of law, have different law categories. It could be a developer trained on different types of frameworks. Okay, Dan, did you have a question before we move on to editing the front end piece?
Not really. I just want to say I had something go a little late, so I'm just kind of getting set up, but I'm good to go. I actually was here for a lot of last night. Just wanted to say hey, and I'm trying to get caught up, but I think I'm good now.
Awesome. And one thing that's also different actually about this project that I'm looking at it now is there's voices, right? So this actually supports Google Voice, which is free, and I think it's very browser based. So some browsers might have different kind of voice. So you might want to play around with that. There's some other things here. Like I'm looking at some of these prompts, some of these JSONs. For example, this prompt right here is, I think, tarot based. I think it asks, is this a tarot? So it has little bit of a different structure. So you might want to pay a little bit more attention to it. But otherwise, it's very similar to what we did week 1. And the process of actually setting it up until this point is exactly the same as week 1. Okay, now let's actually take a look at what we can do here with this front end. At the end of the day, if we take a look at these files, let's see. We have PHP style and we have index. So let's take a look at index first. So some things you'll find in index is, of course, the site title, site description, all these meta and SEO things that you can edit, right? So whenever somebody looks for you, the description that they see, if you're not doing astrology, will be very different, and the title. If you want to go back to week 1, because we actually did not look at the index file in week 1 at all, you can go back to week 1, and this is how you would change the title that you see at the top of the Chrome tab or whatever browser you're using. Then some other things here, you see this is the loading that happens whenever we access the page or go to some sort of different parts of the page. Then you have these different sections. You have the container on top. So I think that would be really useful here, something like Dreamweaver, but Dreamweaver is so outdated. You could just put these side by side. Let's see. Zoom out. Some things you guys will notice when you put these side by side, it's a little bit easier to understand. So for example, this whole graphic right here, you have unravel your mysteries with Oracle. That's all right here, main title, subtitle. You can either change it here or wherever we have it. I think maybe in the JSON somewhere. So not in this JSON. Oh, gotta reopen File Manager. But yeah, the biggest thing you can start editing is, of course, the graphics, which are linked over here, where you see Spellbook and Oracle. And then you can start editing the structure, which is in that index file as well. Now, to understand some of this, what I recommend you guys do is actually open this in VS Code. Let's do that instead. I have this project locally. This will help us find things a little bit better. Let's see, open folder. I think that's the old one. Now, the reason VS Code is useful in this situation is because we're going to search, right? So whenever we want to edit the text, if let's say we completely want to switch it up from Oracle, check this out. Okay, so let's put these two side by side. So for example, we have here unravel your mysteries with our Oracle, right? If you want to change that in VS Code, you can just use the search tool, Control-Shift-F, and I'll just look for those words, unravel, and there it is. So this is inside of lang.json, right? This is like your language file. So here you have your main title that you can change. You have your subtitle. That's these two right here. Something you can already knock off your list for actually customizing this. You have other things here as well, like dream machining. These are all the titles for the different, as you can see, options, like tarot reading. These are the widget names, so to say. You can change those as well. And immediately you're going to start seeing differences. Now, remember, everything related to the actual AI part of it and the AI prompt and whatnot, that's going to be inside of prompt en for us because we're using the English version. And you're going to see those linked here as well. Here's the widget name. It links the widget name from lang.json. Yeah, this is where VS Code really shines, is you're able to search. And then also the image and the icon. You don't have to use SVGs, so you can use PNGs. SVGs are just much lighter, better looking on a page. So if you don't want to do, let's actually edit one right now. For example, I want to make this a lawyer, right? I don't want this to be unravel your mysteries without Oracle or a developer. Let's so let's start with the first one. We'll start with the top. Unravel your mysteries with our Oracle. That's main title. Easiest way to do it is to search. If you're in cPanel, you can go inside of the JSON folder and look for lang.json. And let's edit this. So instead of unravel your mysteries, I will do something like get help with your coding question. Of course, if you're editing in VS Code, it's not going to be reflected right away. These changes you want to make in your cPanel, or you want to upload them later. Dan, do you have a question?
Yeah, just real quick. I figured you might get back to it, but you said instead of an SVG, we can use what file type that's smaller?
SVG is smaller, but you could use PNG.
Oh,
So
gotcha.
SVG
Okay,
is
perfect.
the ideal. Yes, because sometimes you have images in their PNGs. You might not have an SVG. By the way, if you have Canva, you can turn anything into an SVG.
That was my next question. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Let's try our astrology reading, dream interpretation. Okay, so here it is. I'll say try our let's do Next.js. Very popular. PHP. PHP, WordPress. WordPress and what else do we kind of go over? I'll say WordPress and other coding services. To get the best help for your project and deliver great code. So this tab here is the first thing we can start changing. Now, whenever you make a change, one thing to keep in mind is, of course, if you're editing in VS Code, these changes will not be reflected yet. So what you need to do is update this file, this specific file inside of your cPanel. So I'm going to look for lang.json inside of my cPanel. So I'm going to look for that. I'm going to go to folder 2. Then I'm going to go to JSON. And here's lang.json. And now the easiest way, you can either delete and re-upload a file, or just copy and paste the whole edited file. And save. By the way, this lang, as you can see, there's lang index and all that. Whatever changes you make in English, if you want to support these other languages, you're going to need to make those same changes in the other languages as well. Me personally, I don't know these other two languages. I could ask AI to make these changes. AI is quite knowledgeable when it comes to different languages. Yep. Now, there's some other things here as well. It says ask the Oracle. Let's do ask the developer. Oh, if I can spell. Okay. Now let's actually see these changes reflected on our website. Some things to keep in mind: whenever you go to your website and you don't see the changes you do reflected, as you can see right now, my changes are not being reflected. Well, you can go into incognito, and then that will have no cache. So HTML, very cache heavy. So you might not see your changes right away, but as soon as you go into incognito mode or open a new browser or clear your cache, you can see it says get help with your coding questions. Now let's see what else is here. So we have this wizard, we have this book, we have this mysterious thing in the background spinning. Let's see where we can edit that. I think we'll edit those global things together. We'll edit one of the prompts together, and then I think I'll let you guys go and edit the rest of them yourself. Okay, so let's see where that floating book is. I'm gonna inspect. I like to inspect things. As you can see, it's gonna tell you this is called spellbook.png. So that's what I'm gonna look for, spellbook. And that's how I'll know where this particular book icon, book picture is being displayed, just like the wizard. If I inspect the wizard, it's called oracle.svg. So I'll be able to search in my VS Code for oracle.svg. And check this out, it's all on the index page. Majority of your structure code is going to be on the index page. And here we have all three of them, actually. We have the wheel that's in the background. We have the spell book, and we have oracle.svg. So let's edit the three of those. Those are actually going to be extremely easy to edit. All you'll need to do is upload your three graphics and change the names here in index. So let's go and do that. Let's go and get a few graphics. I think the first one, I'll start with a book. We'll turn the book into a computer or a laptop or something like that. So Pixel. I know Creative One is going to do great with this. But let's do Fluxcraft, actually. Fluxcraft Ultra. I like the raw mode. Let's see. So the first graphics I want is a laptop. So I'm going to say a laptop with the text need help on the screen. Question mark. On the screen. I'll say flat colors because we want this to be kind of like a graphic. Flat colors, logo. Flat colors, logo, stylized. This should be enough. I just need to enable raw and make this a 1x1. Now, typically you want to make the aspect ratio as close to the aspect ratio of the original picture that's in there, but you could always change that. Okay, that's actually not too bad. It is very flat color. Love it. Download. We'll turn these into PNGs in a second as well. We'll do all three of them. Now, what's the next one? Next one, I wanted a developer. So let's do a developer, coder, web designer, portrait, image. And we'll do the same thing. Flat icon or flat colors, SVG, stylized. Now this one, I think we'll need a 3x4 maybe, something that's portrait sized. I think if we take a look at our website, it's very similar. Yeah, it's kind of like portrait sized, not bad. Let's generate. Let's do, instead of this, from the waist up, from the waist up. You could even remix an image of yourself and have all of your expertise. Oh, I like that. Yeah, we'll do this one. Oh, I accidentally blocked it. Whoops. Yeah. And now the next one we need is that circle with something. So let's make it maybe a spinning circle with ones and zeros. Like the matrix. And we'll go back to the square format. Oh, I actually really like that. Okay, so now we just need to remove the background, and they're ready to go into our app. So let's go to edit images. There's a remove background in here. Makes it super easy. Yeah. These will come out actually even a little bit bigger than the original images, so watch out. It also upscales it slightly. Ooh, that remove background wasn't great, but that's okay. Removed a little too much because of the gray. Let's try again. And then we'll input this into our front page. Oh, much better. Download. So this is going to be laptop. Make sure you name everything properly. Now let's try our web developer. That's pretty good. I'll take it. Call this developer instead of Oracle. Well, we could even keep the name the same, Oracle. And then that way, maybe it'll take over completely wherever we see an Oracle. Right, that's a quick little hack. if you guys, if you don't know where to edit the image, you can just replace the image inside of the images files, and then that image will get replaced everywhere, right? By just naming it the same thing. I think in this case it's an SVG, so I'll probably need to turn it into an SVG if I want to replace it everywhere. It's probably also the best practice in general. Not sure how this will do. We'll see. Not too bad. I'll take it. This was wheel. Okay, now all that's left to do is for us to actually put these into our app. So let's go and upload these first. So all of these are probably going to be located inside of image. Oops. Here you also have all of your icons as well, and your logo. Here it is. You have Oracle, you have wheel, and you have spellbook. So let's upload our pictures in here. So for me, I have wheel, I have Oracle, and laptop instead. And they're all PNGs. You could actually take these into Canva and turn them into an SVG. You can find some sort of an SVG converter. You can go to Creative One and create, or I think it's Recraft, and make an SVG. That'll fit perfectly. Now, once you put them in here, all you have to do is actually change what it says on the index page. Right, so our index page is going to contain all the main code that you see, all the structure that you see on the website whenever you go to it. And it's also going to contain these images. So let's check this out. We are looking for Oracle. There's some other stuff like the title, ask the Oracle, make this ask the developer. There's some SEO stuff here that you can edit. For me, I'm just going to skip over it, but I highly recommend you guys go back to these meta titles and edit them. These are important. Whenever you share this website with somebody and you get all that information about a website from the link, that's where it's going to be located. Okay, here's my wheel. So it's wheel.svg. I think mine is wheel.png. So all I have to do is just change that SVG to PNG. Spellbook is laptop for me. And Oracle, I just have to change the extension to PNG as well. And now we can go back to incognito. Let's see. Okay, so they're all different sizes. That's the problem. I didn't figure out what the original size was. But it did change. So we just have to fix the size of this guy and the laptop. Hilarious. Let's see what size they are. Now, easiest way to find out, I can undo all my changes. Save, and I can go back and see what it actually looks like. And you can actually hover over these and inspect and see the size, the exact size that you need. I think the wheel was the only thing that was the right size. 445 by 445. Okay. So I'm going to go into Canva and I'm going to quickly resize these. And then we'll edit one of these prompts. If you guys have any questions, raise your hand. Feel free to stop me. I'm going to do this quick Canva design. Start with logo. And from Canva, we're actually going to export them all as SVG as well. So let's take this. I think this was 445. So we're gonna resize. Canva makes this pretty easy. I'm gonna go 445. Resize. Now I want the transparent background, and I want this to be an SVG. Now, this is not a true SVG, as somebody pointed out before, but it'll get the job done for us. Now let's see what size is the laptop. So the laptop spellbook is 366 by 389. It's kind of a square, but a little bit off. This is how you would typically edit a template. You want some of these things the exact size, so they fit right in place. Now, I think this laptop was a PNG, so we'll keep it a PNG. There might be a specific reason why it's a PNG, so I don't want to break that. It's about center. Yeah. Now for these, you want to keep the transparent background important. That's just important for us because we want it to blend in with the page nicely. And then we have the Oracle itself, which was 450 by 614.
And Dan, I see your hands up. Oh, excuse me. Dan, I see your hands up. Did you have a quick question?
Well, not necessarily a quick question, just a resonance and an idea. Because I see, Alistair, you're using Canva to do all of these different functions, and I know one of the things that was brought up last night was, I think Cash Money Kev, you actually brought it up. Like season 4 outcome was this Canva like tool. But I also was thinking, hey, we've got my AI tutor as well in this ecosystem. And so I actually just said, hey, I need a simple app that will transform an SVG file into a PNG file into an SVG. And there's a really simple Python script that it came up with. So just, thinking, I was really inspired by the way you showed us how, within Pixio, we could do all of these different things to remove backgrounds and things like that. So I think staying within the same set of tools, just speaking from an educator perspective, is always really great to not be depending on third-party things that we can build ourselves. So the reason I'm even saying this is because I'm empowered by this whole idea to impact class. So just wanted to mention that, like, there's so many things you can do if you pair up AI Tutor and Pixio with all of this coding that we're learning.
Dan, did you use artifacts
I
to make that?
yeah, I did use artifacts, and I got an error there. And then I went to the app builder tool. I got an error there, but it's just because of some very specific libraries that I don't have on my computer. And so then I went to just my AI tutor, to Claude, and Claude 3.5, and said, I need this. And it gave me a Python script, and voila.
Awesome. I'm going to be doing the same type of thing, but I'm going to be doing that for like the background. I'm going to be taking a page out of Julie Todd's book, and I'm going to try making one of those moving backgrounds that interact with like the mouse and move stuff around. So it's cool to hear that you're doing that. It's inspiring me, and I'm sure it inspires other people to use AI tutor like that. But I'll hand it back over to you, Alistair. I see you just uploaded uh, your PNGs and your SVGs, and I'll let you get back to it.
Yeah, that's great. You know, Python apps, you can actually host a Python app for free if you wanted to on Hugging Face. So if it's a very light Python app that doesn't require any sort of LLM stuff, you can put it up for free. And you know, share it and have anybody use it through a Hugging Face link. And let's see. Let's refresh. I changed. Okay, so I might need to clear my cache for this one. That's one of the things whenever you replace files instead of changing the files, you might need to clear cache. Okay, not too bad. I'll take it. We're getting somewhere, guys. We're editing these. I think some of the things you could also edit is probably this little curtain thing that's going on with the lights. You can edit that as well. I'm guessing it's one of the graphics. Let's see. That's why we want to inspect element. And of course, it's a hero.jpg. So this is actually a whole JPEG image. And let's see what Ask the Oracle is. I think that's the logo. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so logo for Oracle and this little JPEG in the back for the hero. Those are some things you can edit as well, just by editing, you know, the graphics. You don't even need to make any actual changes to the code. You can just replace the logo, replace the hero. Let's do that. That's a quick change we can make. So Ask the Oracle. Let's instead make a logo. Oops. Whoa. I have some clicking issues. So let's go back and let's do, I would say, logo SVG that says ask the developer with a laptop on the left. And this one we want it to be kind of long. Looks like it has that long aspect ratio. And once again, we'll include some of these things from the prompt, like flat colors, SVG stylized. Let's see. Oh, that's pretty good. Just cuts off a little bit. Let's try again. Give it another go. And I would say whenever you do like icons or logos, what helps is having the square aspect ratio 1:1. Because typically that's what a logo would be. Okay, that's not too bad. I'll take it. You can always edit this, but I like the little color scheme that's going on there. And then I think the other thing that was there is the stage. So maybe I'll turn this into something else. I'll turn this into like a matrix wall. Like some sort of a frame. We'll see. I'll take this back into Canva. Then we've been going good in Canva. Now this needs to be 510 by 94. So simple resize. Oh, Cassandra, I see your hand up. Do you have a question?
I'm laughing, Alisher. Like I've been on this is literally a bookmark on my computer. I'm like, how can I just private label this? I've even contacted them to ask who they developed it so I could just, you know. So my question is, are you able to run the scripts that are inside it then, or are you just kind of changing the infrastructure of the design?
Oh, you're able to do everything that's here. Like it has system prompts.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I talk to one of these personalities, check this out. For example, dream meaning. About the last dream. It's like I dreamt about running. There is a system prompt that goes through all these steps and asks questions, and at the end gives a very well thought out and well reasoned response.
Yeah, the app is amazing. I mean, the corollary and the response is amazing. So that's helpful. Okay. I'm seeing what's possible. My problem is I just don't have the time to do it. So, anyways, I sent you a message and I'll connect with you afterwards. But I just love that you're showing this example. It's really awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, and as soon as this example came up last night, I was thinking of you. You should be in here checking this out. This is right up your
Here I
alley.
am.
And you already have so many custom graphics for your tarot project
I have
that it
four.
will be very
I
easy.
have 4 masters. All the prompts are done. The imagery is done. I just need the platform. So we're going to be connecting, sir.
Yeah, I'll give you a response right after I'm done.
No worries. Just wanted to thank you. This is a really, really great example. And really amazing to see how fast, sometimes I wonder ethically, how ethical is this? But at the same time, just like Hugging Face, you can decode any framework and go and make it your own. And it is ethical that way. So I think this is an amazing way you can see how you can quickly rebrand and create a working app. So it's amazing. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean these come out of the box working. All you need to do is just put in an API key, and that's it. It's going. Let's do 19. It's very, very long. Okay, we'll do a matrix wall. Why not? Can't think of anything else. The reason why I like Canva, by the way, it has pictures as well, so I can kind of get anything in there. Let's do matrix. Oh, all sorts of things. Purple isn't too bad. I think that matches our already existing color scheme a little bit. Just don't like how it cuts off, but that's all right. It's also a little bit too poppy. Let's see what else is there. None of these are really like a frame, but that's okay. We could always generate something. But I think for now, I'll stick with this. Yeah. We'll stick with this. We'll make this a little bit not as bright. Yeah, that's okay. Let's do download. We don't need a transparent background this time. We need a JPEG. I think this is called Hero. Okay, now same process. All we have to do is just upload it. So I already have my upload in here. And what you'll notice is whenever you're uploading something that already exists, it'll ask you, do you want to replace it? So there I'm putting in logo.svg. It says logo.svg already exists. Do you want to override it? And if I override it, it'll replace the old logo. I would just say be careful, guys, when you're overriding something. You could always rename it and then upload it something else. Now I should be able to go back to my website and check out this logo and this hero. They should be changed as well. Again, whenever you overwrite something, you might need to clear your cache. And there you go. So it's slowly coming together. It's a little busy. Not a big fan of this background. I think it needs to be darker. Yeah. Okay, do you guys have any questions about editing all of these so far? Because now we're gonna go into editing this little prompt, and then we'll finish.
I don't see any hands
There you go.
up,
That's better.
Alistair. Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
No, I was just saying darker background is better. But yeah, I don't see any hands either. So I guess we can start editing these, right? So here we have our prompt, so to say, right? Each one of these is going to correspond to a different system prompt, similar to how our animals were. And I guess we'll focus on this first one, dream meaning. Right? The first thing you want to change is the title and this icon. So for me, this is Next.js. Now let's see what size this needs to be. So it needs to be 122 by 122. Remember, good practice is to keep the exact same size. That way everything fits together. Nice. Now we can start putting our things in. So the first thing I mentioned is Next.js, right? Maybe we want a Next.js expert. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a Next.js logo. Let's see if actually they have any. Basic. To Next.js logo. Like these. Now remember, after we get our logo, these are, I think, in the same place. So let's download. We'll call this Next.js. And we'll make sure this is an SVG. I think these need to be SVGs as well. Doesn't have to be, just the best practice is to have an SVG. You want to keep them the same format and the same size, just for consistency purposes. I can just upload it back to where I have all of my images. There it is. And now all I have to do is edit my prompt, right? So the first prompt that we have is, of course, the dream prompt. And it's going to be located inside of JSON file called prompt ES or prompt EN English. And here we have it. We have name Oracle. That's fine. They're all named Oracle. We have the widget name. So remember, this widget name is located inside of lang.json. And here we have widget name 1, which is dream meaning, that we're going to change to Next.js expert, maybe. Next.js Google. Save. We'll go to here. We'll change our image. So this is an image icon dream machine. Instead, we want it to be image next.js.svg. And here we have a welcome message, training, and description. So instead of these four or these three, we're going to change these to something Next.js related, right? So I'm going to go to AI Tutor and set these up. And if you guys want to do this by hand, you can do it by hand as well. But for me, it's much easier to go to AI Tutor for this. Let's see, plus maybe. Yeah, new chat. I'm going to focus on developer since this is a developer. And let's do this. I'm going to say, here is my structure. This needs to be a developer that's an expert in React and Next.js. And let's do training refers to the system prompt. And let's see what it gives us. Oh, right. Don't forget to say hi to your AI before you start. Ooh, I think because it's a developer, didn't quite understand it. We'll just stick with regular GPT. I'll say, give me these so that they focus on Next.js development. This needs to be a Next.js guru. There you go. Welcome message, training, description. Perfect. All I have to do is just copy these three. And replace them in my prompt. So I'm going to replace these. There you go. It's missing something. It's missing a comma at the end. Okay, and let's save. Now you can take this whole thing and throw it into the AI, but for us, the main thing that we need to edit here is welcome message, training, and description. So that's what's responsible for the actual chatting part. And let's check this out. I think I need to clear my cache again. So I'm going to open a new incognito window. And here we go. We have Ask the Developer on top. We have everything on top that we changed, from text to these images and graphics to the background to the logo. And then our first personality right here is Next.js Guru, right? Different icon. And here you go. One thing you might want to change is the name also. Right now it says Oracle. The icon is Oracle. You guys can keep going with all the changes. Hello, I'm here to assist you in finding a developer who's an expert in React and Next.js. Okay, maybe I should rephrase my prompt a little bit better, but for the sake of time, you guys can see that these changes are actually taking place. I'm gonna say I have an issue with my code. Can you help me? And then you can give it whatever code that you want, for example. But the idea is that you guys are seeing these changes being reflected. Here it is, Next.js Guru. It's you might want to change the name from Oracle to something else. You might want to change this icon from this. I think this is Oracle Avatar. It's called. You can inspect and see exactly what it is. And this is the main part. You guys want to start making these visual changes first. So I would say make all the visual changes with the logos, the text first, and then start going into these prompt changes, because you already know how to make the prompt changes from week one. Here, you just want to practice making these visual changes. Do you guys have any questions so far? One thing you're also going to find on the index page is the structure and the layout for all of these chats, right? So for example, I want to change this picture that's the background of this chat. You're going to find that in index.html. You can give the AI the entire index.html page and ask the AI to make those changes for you. Let's say you want to change some of this CSS. You can take the entire CSS file. Let's take a look. Where is our CSS? I'm going to use Visual Studio Code just because it allows me to see the colors a little bit better. So here it is, style. And in style, we have app.css. And here you go. You have things like color purple in here. Let's say I don't want my text, my accent to be purple. I can go ahead and change all the purples to, let's say, maybe green or blue. And the reason you want to use VS Code is because VS Code makes it easy. Take a look at this. I'm just hovering over the color, and all I have to do is just slide it around to change it to something else, right? And immediately this purple becomes a little bit of a darker green. And now all I have to do is just change all of the ones that are purple to green. It's actually a lot easier than you might think. I can do Control F and start looking for that color. So I think it was hashtag DO something. It was D0. Yeah, there you go. There's only 2 more in here. Easy. So every time I see this one, I'm going to change it to the previous one. And then where's the other one? There it is. And now I think there's a few more greens and purples here and there that you can play around with, that you can change. There's one. You could even give this whole thing to the AI and have the AI give you a response that doesn't have purple, that has just different shades of green. Let's see, it looks like there's just a few more purples. There you go. And now I can take this whole thing and replace it in my actual app. In the CSS file, as you noticed, you'll also see things like the actual backgrounds, right? A lot of the backgrounds is done using a CSS style sheet. So last night you guys spoke a little bit about inline versus style sheet. So inline means it's right there on the index page. Style sheet means it's in one of these CSS files. In our case, most of the CSS is inside of app.css. Just going to replace this entire CSS file with the one from my local computer that I just edited. And let's see. Let's reload this. Let's see if we see any green. I actually have to get to it too now. Incognito. There it is. So I'm seeing this dot here, already changed the color to green. Some of these backgrounds might be inline, so you might want to check the index page. But as you can see here, the top is green. So it's starting to look different. Okay, do you guys have any questions before we wrap it up? These are the main changes you want to start focusing on. You want to make this look as different from the template as possible.
I got a quick one, Alisher. You can't quickly look for the color hex codes in the cPanel file manager, can you? Like when you're editing in there?
Unfortunately, no, it's not as easy in File Manager. That's why just going in Visual Studio Code and then just copy and pasting some of this stuff is a little bit easier.
Okay, awesome. I was just double checking.
Okay. Well, if you guys don't have any questions, I'll just say keep in mind again the main part you want to edit is how this actually looks like. So all these graphics, the wizard, the different icons here, that's what you want to focus on editing. You already know how to edit the prompt from week one. That's the easy part for you. Now you just want to focus on these very much code changes, right? A lot of these changes are made in code. They are made by replacing files. So just be careful. And if you break something, of course, feel free to hit us up. I'll take a look at your website and we'll figure out what will happen.
Awesome, Alistair. Great job, man. I learned so much here. Yeah, thank you, Cassandra. Thank you. And I wish Dan was here too, because he would definitely be agreeing with me. I'm going to be transferring over my code into VS Code myself, because I myself am too more comfortable in there. And the fact that it's got the hex color like palette changer in there, that's pretty awesome and key, because I was going back and forth in like multiple tabs looking up hex colors for certain colors, and that was, it kind of got annoying. but but at the same time, I think just knowing your way around in the file manager is also key. So I might just try to do both, but I think I'll resort just going into VS Code. I'm excited. Also, I want to give you a chance if you have any final closing notes for the recap, and then I'll close this out here.
Yeah, I will say that remember, guys, these first two projects is really just practice for your next project. And that's the one we're really going to focus on and build out. So you want to learn how to edit these prompts. You want to learn how to properly set these prompts up, change models. You want to learn how to change the style of these pages, the graphics. And then once we get to project number 3, which kind of combines everything together, you'll find it much easier to navigate it. So just do as much as you can. It's great practice. It's another fun and easy project to add to your portfolio. And if you make it look completely different, well, then you have two projects that look drastically different, and people are definitely going to look at it as these two separate entities that you put a lot of time into, which you guys did. We saw a lot of your projects last night for the animals, and they were fantastic. I even spoke to some of the projects, so sorry if I spent your credits. And keep in mind, this is paid, so you need an OpenAI key for this. So you might need to load up like $5 into your OpenAI account. And if you don't want people using these, go back and remove the key so your money doesn't get spent.
Yeah, I keep being used on my historic teachers app. Also, I want to say a quick reminder, guys, don't forget, I am challenging people for the homework this week. If you change the wizard and you make like a Lord of the Rings Gandalf design or Gandalf design, I'll throw in. I said last night $5 worth of credits. I'm gonna raise that to $10 worth of Pixio credits that I'll give away and send your account, because I think this is just so cool. It's such a fun little project for the second one going into the hard one. Currently, I'm just so excited, Alisher, for what we're creating here, and I can't wait for the third project. With that, guys, go throughout your Thursday today innovating. Don't forget, AI Builders is happening tomorrow. Alisher and Sharon are building out an AI transcription app, and it's super cool. I'm going to be checking that out. Don't forget to also check out Sarah's Space. Everything is on the ITT website. Be sure to get your profile all figured out there.